Three Ring Circus, baby. No better way to start, or I guess, have lunch on your Friday, unless you're a late riser, than a good old episode of Three Ring Circus. And I gotta say, the plan is to just only have Ryans on this show from here on out. So we started with Ryan Green, episode 1. Episode 2, our guy, Ryan Edwards. What's up, man?
Good to be here. Happy aboard. And then honestly, when I got my chance to be on the Three Ring Circus last time, we had to do it all digitally or do it all Zoom, that type of thing. So cool to be in person. Love it.
It's great to have you.
It's awesome to have you. And I wonder whose idea it was to have only Ryans on this. I can only imagine who.
Yeah, Mace. I don't know.
Yeah, Mace.
Well, you guys started. I felt like, and I wasn't here last week. I'm like, I got to get in on this somehow, right?
Some Andrews. We got some Andrews and Andys in the market.
That's true.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
There are some Zacs as well.
Yes, there are. Yes.
And Zatches.
Yes, exactly.
I think by the end of this, we'll have almost every Ryan in Denver media on the show.
Almost.
Yes. Okay, so last year I heard there was some internal feud on your show about the fact that you got invited first onto the show. So I figured we'll just double down and do it again.
No, I love it. The jealousy. I can imagine Ben Albright right now seething as he's holding his phone watching this because he doesn't really watch on a laptop. Everything's on his phone. But yeah, no, that was one of my favorite moments. I think we had you on, Zach, and I basically just spent the entire interview talking about how I got to be on first. I don't think we may have talked Broncos. I don't know. I just know that the entire time I was just staring right at Ben going, yeah, and I mean, one day, Ben, they're going to love you like they love me. But
if you had to describe working with Ben Albright in one word, what word would you choose?
Gosh. All right. Well, remember, I was going to say I got to see him again later. So, in one word, I don't know if I could do it one word, but
you can go a short sentence.
Yeah. I mean, look, I respect his hustle. Like, a lot of people question like some of what he reports or how he gets his reports. Listen, as a guy that's watched him work now for several years, it always impresses me. He'll send me stuff late at night saying like, hey, I'm having this conversation with this exact person that's in the news, and I mean, literally sends me the DM of it, and I'm just like, my goodness, that's just unbelievable. So he's legit, and but again, he's got some ego, and there's a little bit of that with him, and I think that's kind of just a little bit of that. But honestly, like in person, he's just really nice guy, really more or less humble, believe it or not. A little bit of the public perception of him and the public out of how he does it. It's a little bit different, but
I think your show, and if you guys haven't seen it, you got to check out Broncos Country tonight. I think your show is awesome because you guys are just so different.
Yeah. No, we really are, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, we really are. In so many different ways. I mean, I think that we have like a kind of a little bit of a brotherly bond. We've known each other for almost a decade.
You guys did a podcast on our network way back.
That's right. That's right. We did a lot of. That's right. I tell people that's a bragging right for me. Like like I say, yeah. But back in the day with DNVR, Ben and I were doing a podcast. Which is remarkable. But no, I've known him for a really long time. We've been friends for a really long time. Part of the reason, he's with iHeart now is I kept bringing him back on my show, and they eventually like, hey, this guy's got something. Maybe we'll look into that. And that was the show that Mason and I did together over there at iHeart for a while. And yeah, I mean, it just, but again, I approach radio in such a different way, and just broadcasting in a different way altogether. So the way he approaches it, I think there's a little bit of, I would say he's green, but I'd say he just approaches it more from like, I don't know, an NFL insider, like doesn't have a lot of the same chops, the same background, and I'm so nerdy about it. And I love the nuts and bolts of broadcasting. So
the funny thing is with Ben, when we would have him on, sometimes it was okay. You, me, Steve Atwater, we know something, but being kind of the house station,
right?
We can't say it. So you bring Ben on, and Ben will just say everything he learns.
Yeah. But it didn't come from us.
Right. It came from Ben.
Yeah.
So there you go.
What are you supposed to do? Yeah. Well, especially in the Vance Joseph era.
Yes.
Like that was the toughest thing is we had, and I wouldn't say like we found creative ways is what I'd put it. Creative ways to
throw
say.
Your hat.
Creative ways to say on how unhappy we were with the product. And I think the Broncos fans felt that way.
Right.
It's not being disingenuous. It's just being like, well, I think anybody can sit there and say this guy needs to be fired. This is awful. This is terrible. It's like, or you could be a little more creative with it and try to find ways to have the same conversation and maybe have more of a constructive conversation. And I think that's more important to me.
Well, and it can be a positive challenge because I've joked in the past when like a local columnist drops the fire the coach article in week 4.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, where can you go from here?
Right.
You don't have many other cards to play, so like
You got GM and owner, and then you're done.
right. You kind of have to be a little more tactical rather than just like fire them, bench him, whatever.
Right. Well, and it's the same thing like when people with Drew Lock were like, well, I'm done with Drew Lock, or I'm done with it. It's like, well, he's still on the roster, so like, what if he decides to play well for a little while? Are you just going to be like, I was wrong? Like,
no.
I mean, but you're 100% right. When you say they're fired or I'm done with them or like any of those extreme takes, there is nowhere else to go.
Yep.
And walking that back, I don't know. You lose a little bit of credibility with me.
Yeah.
When I was, writing those, more opinionated columns, I thought about that. I'm like, I don't think I can go just fire everyone until like at least week 13. I gotta have somewhere to go. I have to have something that we're working towards.
Well, and then just really quick on to pile on that. So what if they keep him around? Like say for example Vic Fangio, right? What if they did keep Vic Fangio around and you'd been spent all your energy on firing Vic Fangio? So are you just gonna not do anything the next season? Like, do you just like any wins? Like, do you not get to enjoy any of those? Do you not get to write positively about the team because you wanted them to fire the coach? I mean, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I think constructive conversations in a lot of walks of life are a lot more valuable.
All right, you and Mace did a show together for a while. Do you have a Mace behind the scenes story for us?
Man. Mace is a fiery individual. He's got the cool blue going right now, but honestly, Mace is one of my all-time favorite people. And,
likewise for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And we just had so much fun on that show, and Steve, Mace, and I just brought such different dynamics again. That the way we approached radio, the way we approached sports, football, all that was just so different. But that's the thing about Mace is like every single day I knew he was going to show up ready to go. And I've worked with enough hosts. This isn't a Ben Albright thing. I've worked with enough hosts that is just not the case.
You can tell too.
You can. Yeah, I think anybody that like enjoys the medium, right, whether it's radio, podcasting, whatever, you can tell when people show up and say, "We're going to talk Broncos today," and they just start talking.
Right.
Or if they have to put some thought into what they want to say, into the direction of the show, into the direction of their content, the direction of their argument, I can always tell the difference. And I think more listeners, especially as these mediums continue to grow, I think they notice it too.
Absolutely. All right. So what we're going to do here today is play a little game of quarterback roulette. Now, do any of you guys enjoy the actual game of roulette?
No.
Not really.
Blackjack, I'm not saying you count cards, but there are methods that you can...
He's saying he counts cards.
Mace absolutely... No one would question... No one would say Mace can't count cards.
Anybody in the room.
If he's wearing glasses like that, sunglasses.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that I'm at Rain Man level here, but with blackjack, you can kind of get a feel for it, and you can adapt. There's not a random. It's not pure randomness, right?
There's strategy involved.
Exactly. Poker, same thing, but I have no poker face. That's why I don't play poker. The roulette wheel is just so random that I just anybody can do that. So I'm not a fan.
Yes, I've worked with you long enough to know that you're not very good at, just putting an act on, just for the sake of the situation. So I've played roulette maybe a couple times, never hit anything, and that's good enough for me. I'm out. Have you heard the Peyton Manning roulette story though?
Oh
no, I haven't.
Brandon Stokely tells this story. Pat McAfee tells this story. So now it's from two sources. It's corroborated. So I guess Peyton threw some sort of like Christmas party or something for the team at a casino near Indianapolis, and they had like a private room or whatever. So they were, they could gamble and stuff on the side. But Pat tells the story that he towards the end of the night was like, I don't want to play these games anymore. I want to go play some roulette or craps or whatever. So he goes out to the roulette table and it's just him. No one even recognizes him. He's just standing there playing. And Peyton at one point decides that he's going back to the room. So as he's walking by, he sees Pat at the roulette table, just Doesn't stop, doesn't anything, just pats him on the shoulder on his way by and just goes, how about that red 18? And just walks away and goes and gets in the elevator and goes up. So everyone at the table, of course, moves all of their money to red 18. And lo and behold, it hits.
No way.
Wow.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So
Wow.
hopefully we can have a similar luck here on quarterback roulette. So how this is going to work is we have a roulette table of quarterbacks that's going to spin, and you're going to stop it. You're just going to say stop. Maybe don't be looking too close because I don't know how fast it moves. It doesn't go that fast. So you're going to stop it. It's going to land on a quarterback. You're going to have the option to, I'm taking that quarterback, I'll take my chances, or spin again. But if you spin again, whoever it lands on, that's who you're
gotta
stuck
take
with for the Broncos next year.
Got it.
And well, we could do a couple of rounds, but then you'll go first, then we'll go around, and we'll see who's got the best quarterback at the
Yes,
end of the
we'll
first
have
round.
a little discussion about
Yes.
what life would look like
Yes.
with said quarterback. All right, Allie has the roulette table brought up. So just tell us when to stop.
All right. Stop.
Oh,
Kyler
Kyler. Interesting.
I'll say it the way you used to say it, Kyler. Yeah, you had a significant man crush.
I am a huge
on
fan.
Kyler in the 2019
that
draft
makes
Both
process.
Ryans have
Yep.
a crush on
Huge
Kyler.
fan of Kyler Murray. A little bit concerned about his fit with this offense, but I think that his overall abilities, you just work around that. Golly, do I spin again?
Got
I mean,
a little
Kyler's
smile
one
on your face. I don't know if you're giving up on him.
I'm gonna run it again.
Hey.
Let's just run it
Oh.
again.
Speaking of saying Kyler Murray, Quinnen Williams had it the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kyler Murray.
This
All right,
is
stop.
Oh,
Ooh,
Malik
intriguing.
Willis is who
All
he
right,
lands
so
on.
you pass on Kyler to get
Give Malik
Malik.
Willis.
You like it?
I do like Malik Willis. But again, it's a little bit of an investment pick, so you'd have to understand year one, you might be able to get him out there using his legs a little bit, maybe back into the year, but he's not a day one starter, in my opinion. I think he needs some footwork. Certainly, that's going to be one of the things that jumped out to me watching him. But man, the talent, the arm talent, the ability to run the ball, I think he could be the top quarterback in the draft. I think he's going to have a good week at the combine too. So
I think you're right, Ryan. And also something to take into consideration here is you didn't have to give up as much in order to get
Yes.
Malik. Now, I agree with you that he's going to be the number one quarterback taken. I don't think you're going to be able to get him at 9, so you're probably trading up. But even then, it's still less than what you'd have to give up for Kyler.
Well, Daniel Jeremiah on the conference call that you love so much, Zach,
Yep.
today said he thinks that there's a decent chance no quarterbacks go in the top 10. I can never imagine a world like that, but that insinuates that maybe some of those teams at the top, that from what he's hearing, aren't as high on Malik Willis as like I personally am. I think in this offense, where you can kind of simplify things down, you hope to be able to run the ball really well with Javonte Williams and whoever else you have back there, and you get him out on the run, you get him out of the pocket. I think it could work great. And to me, there's something about just taking that shot, trying to make it work. And we've talked a lot about the Josh Rosen style thing. If it goes completely wrong, which I wouldn't say is completely off the table,
No.
and I would start him from week 1, then you just go right back at it next year.
it's going to be a good quarterback class next year, or at least that's the projection of it. And anymore, Mason, I know you agree with this. You do need some mobility with your quarterback, and again, he's got just the requisite arm strength. He's got just so many abilities. It's raw, but the talent is there.
I don't think it's a stretch to say he's actually the best runner,
Yeah,
regardless of position. The
even
best,
Matt Corral, huh?
best runner, including running backs,
Okay, gotcha.
in this draft.
Wow.
Yeah.
He is electric when he takes off with the ball.
And that's why he's going to be a top 5 pick.
I mean, I think you're right. I don't want you to be right, but I think you're right. And that, that's what happens. The further we talk about this all the time, the further you get away from the tape, the more you start looking at the measurables, the more you start, seeing highlights pop up everywhere. And, he's going to go run. Hopefully he runs at the combine and runs a eye-popping number. And someone's just going to say, there's just no way. There's no way we can let this guy slide.
Yep.
Yeah.
Detroit Lions, we're looking at you.
Yep.
All right, so you've got Malik Willis
Happy
in
with
your
it.
corner.
Okay.
Mace, you want to go next?
All right, sure. This is like pressure luck. I can hear.
Mason's probably been card counting. He's already memorized.
Absolutely. That's what he's
I
doing
need
right
you
now.
to close
He's
your
looking.
eyes,
Yeah,
man.
we need you to look over here, Mason.
Stop!
Oh, he wouldn't do it.
Ah, okay, Kyler.
You know what? I'm standing pat.
Oh, I wonder if Ryan Edwards wishes he did that.
No, I like the mystery box. You know, I'm good with it. It could be a boat. You know how much I've always wanted a boat.
Boat's a boat, but a mystery box could be anything.
So no, I mean Kyler special.
I think you got a little bit more though than 2 tickets to the comedy club.
Probably. What I remember, and I was actually thinking talking about it last night with Ben and Al, was how John Elway at the Combine broke my heart. Do you remember that?
I'll never forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. You did. That's right. Good memory.
It was a combination of 2 answers about working under center and measurables on a quarterback, and basically just I thought he has the traditional view.
Yep.
And it was like no Kyler, and then in the end they took a guy who had the big arm. But Drew Lock is he's a classic quarterback in a lot of ways, right?
Yep.
Well, and obviously they didn't have a shot at Kyler in the end anyway.
Right.
But at the time, he wasn't your surefire number 1 overall pick. And John essentially said, I do think if you're going to go from under center, you have to be able to see over the line when you're dropping back. And I was like, there it goes.
And offenses have to go under center.
Yeah.
That's sort of his thing.
And it reminded us of Russell Wilson, why they passed up on him. And then, of course, what was it? Just a year or 2 before? When Lamar, he was talked about from John Elway's perspective as he'll be good for someone else. The Broncos didn't even consider him.
So the question was, do you think he should switch to wide receiver? Remember, that was the stupid take I think it was Bill Polian who had put that into the world. And John said, no, I wouldn't do that. He's had a lot of success at quarterback. I think he's going to be a good quarterback for somebody. Not us.
Not
And then as we would learn later when Jack Del Rio spoke about it, I think to Adam Schefter, height was the reason that they didn't pick Russell Wilson. Scored well in every other way. But the thing is, they just at that moment there had been one sub 6 foot quarterback who had been worth anything, and that was Doug Flutie. And even then, he had to go through the CFL before he got to Buffalo. So I think there was like a thought of, okay, this template has never worked. Why is it going to work now? Now, sitting here in 2022, we know better. Russell Wilson, with his attributes, if he were in this draft class, would go number 1 overall.
He probably would have gone number 1 in almost every draft class since then.
If Doug Flutie was in this game today, he would probably go number 1 in his draft because what we are looking for, it's changed. The template has expanded over time.
And that's why over a year away, we're already talking about Bryce Young being the 1st or 2nd overall pick.
Yeah.
Because people just don't care.
Or why Mace stayed with Kyler. I mean, Kyler's the smallest quarterback in the NFL.
Yep.
Size matters not, as Yoda told us.
and by the way, Baker's in that conversation too.
He's like barely over 6 feet.
Yep, just barely.
I mean, Drew Brees was barely over 6 feet too as a player, and
I think
he turned
was
out
shorter
great.
than 6 feet.
That'll end up being 3 number 1 overall picks over the span of like 6-7 years, all under 6 feet.
Yep.
Or 6 feet or under.
Yep, exactly.
Once Bryce goes.
Doesn't matter.
Well, if he goes number 1.
Hey, don't worry about it.
It's not an if to Mr. Alabama over here.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
CJ Stroud does have all the stuff.
He does, yeah, and he could be number 1 too, as well.
Sure.
You want to go?
All right, I'll spin it. I hope I don't land on Kyler. It'd be really bad podcasting.
Maybe it's
all
all
right,
rigged.
I'm closing my eyes. Stop.
Oh, this is your favorite. He's sticking with him. He doesn't get to spin again.
Under no circumstances.
And you're paying him $40 million.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday, and I think Zach said the commenter said if you could get Kirk Cousins at a reasonable price, and I was like, well, yeah, sure, but reasonable to me is like 25, 28 million,
which is not going to,
which is not even close to being possible. And in fact, I'm probably lowballing him there. Pretty much need $30 million if you're going to get a good starting quarterback, which Kirk Cousins actually is. You know, I dog on him all the time, but he's actually good at football, and he's maybe in like the Jake Plummer realm of things where it's like if you put a really good team around him, he's going to make good plays for you. You're going to rack up stats. The problem for me is the combination of the money and the lack of any important wins on the resume. Now, Matt Stafford kind of had the same thing going for him, and they obviously made that work. But then I just add in the corniness and all that stuff, and that's
But Minnesota's had a good team around him. Like, he's had some of the best receivers. He's had one of good defenses.
One of the few quarterbacks you can't say, like, look what he could do with this group of receivers.
Right.
You know?
Isn't he the opposite of Jimmy G? And he's maybe a guy we land on in this. But, I mean, Jimmy G doesn't put up the great numbers. Kirk Cousins last year had a fantastic year. Numbers-wise, Kirk doesn't win. Jimmy G does win.
Yeah.
I mean, Ryan, which one would you rather have?
Oh my gosh!
Since you didn't land on either of them,
I now seeing that they were both in here, I actually did take a very big risk. Listen, I'd rather have Kirk Cousins if it was push comes to shove. Jimmy G for me is the worst case scenario for the Broncos because you're going to have to pay him $30 to $35 million per. He is a guy, again, you said statistically, just really doesn't move the needle as one of the top quarterbacks in the league. And to pay a guy that kind of money that doesn't do that for you. And QB wins is one of those weird, annoying stats for me that it's like, look, we can talk about it. You know, Alfred and I were yelling at each other yesterday about it. He just say, like, all he does is win, Ryan. And I'm like, dude, are you serious about this? Like,
wait, all Kirk Cousins does is win?
No, Jimmy G.
Jimmy G.
does.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm still thinking my Cousins a little.
I was like, I can go through the history of the Trent Dilfers in the world that all they did was win. Brad Williams, you know, like we could talk about those guys. That's the category he is for me. Yeah, he'll make some plays, but he'll make some really boneheaded plays too.
It's funny to go back to who you drew here with Cousins. What do you think the record? And I don't want to do too much on QB wins, but what do you think the record of the Vikings with Kirk Cousins is against the against the Aaron Rodgers led Packers?
How many games has he played?
They played 8.
0-8.
No.
3-4-1.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because I got to thinking about it because they play, the Vikings were a mediocre team,
tied?
but the first time that Kirk Cousins was a Viking against the Packers, they tied at Lambeau.
I forgot
I
about
always
that
knew
season.
Kirk
And it was one. I think Daniel Carlson was kicking for the Vikings and missed a couple of kicks. The Vikings should have won that game. Kirk Cousins actually did enough to win that game. But remember, they played during the Broncos bye. They played that game in Minneapolis that was thrilling and back and forth, and then Cousins led the game-winning drive at the end. I mean, it's kind of weird that clearly the Packers are a better team, but when you had the Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins head-to-head thing, it was damn near equal.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone gets inspired to play for Kirk Cousins. And it's a totally different problem than Kyler. You know, Kyler's like, I'm not really going to fake it. You know, I'm just going to be me and you guys can either follow or not. Kirk's like so corny and so seemingly fake. Maybe that's just how he is. But it comes off super disingenuous to where I just think those guys, like the other guys in the locker room are just like Justin Jefferson's just like, man, just throw me the ball.
I was going to say, I think his wide receivers like playing with him.
They probably
they put up the stats.
But I don't think they're inspired to go win for Kirk Cousins.
Sure. Yeah.
Just to bring it back to Jimmy G, and I'm probably going to jinx myself into landing on him here.
Yeah.
Our friend Nick Kendall sent me this stat. The PFF tracks turnover-worthy throws and also big-time throws.
Right.
And they also have a ratio of turnover-worthy throws to big-time throws. Of all the big starting quarterbacks, Jimmy G had the worst ratio in the NFL. 30 turnover-worthy throws, only 12 big-time throws all season.
And I think in the playoffs we saw that, and Jimmy G got so lucky. Like, picks were just going through cornerbacks' hands, and it was just like right when they didn't need him to make a mistake, he made a mistake, but then the defense just got lucky and dropped it or something.
And that's with Kyle Shanahan whispering in his ear.
Right, which is something you and I were talking about on Twitter the other day. It was just like, can you imagine how bad he would be without Kyle Shanahan?
Yep. It's almost like who's going to get stuck with this? Who's going to get fooled into this? And the Broncos did with Case Keenum. They were the ones that got fooled.
Yep.
But they didn't have to give up draft picks to get him.
Right, and let's hope that
Which you
they're
have to
not
do here.
getting fooled this year.
And I want to give this guy credit because 4 years ago, you were saying that it was an unwise move to sign Jimmy Garoppolo, and I was defending it, saying, "Okay, what choice do you have? You got to see where he goes." And you were ahead of the curve.
Yeah, and you and Steve threw me under the bus to Kyle Shanahan at the combine.
You weren't there.
I know, but you both threw me. You're like, yeah, we got this radio host back in Denver, like who thinks it was a terrible idea that you signed Jimmy Garoppolo to an extension. But you could tell him how much.
I
he's
didn't
wrong.
say it like that.
Actually, Steve did it.
Steve did, yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, Steve was blunt as a spoon on that. I was trying to come massage him.
I was sitting on the beach in Mexico, and I got like this audio file of like Steve Atwater like ripping me, and I'm like, oh, here we go.
I think
Steve and Kyle go a long way back.
Absolutely. I thought it was hilarious, and I was like, I'm gonna be right, so whatever.
I think I said I'm gonna move to the Nuggets beat if they sign Case Keenum.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have taken my own advice.
But you know, the Case Keenum
especially.
thing wouldn't have been so bad if they drafted somebody as well.
Of course.
And that's something we talked about a ton
That
on the
was
show.
our
It's like,
thing, yep.
like, hey, because they missed out on the Kirk Cousins sweepstakes, right?
Yep.
They got Case Keenum, and we were like, well, I mean, it's not great, but do something more. And that's for the problem. John Elway, like, oh, no. We're going to give Case the real shot here to be the guy. And it's like, but when has he shown that? Like, you put all your eggs in this basket for the season
Right.
on him.
Even his season, that was so great. He wasn't even the starter going in.
Right.
And they wouldn't commit to him being the starter
Yep.
as he was winning games.
Yep.
And Pat Shermer was the guy in his ear.
Pat Shermer was the guy in his ear.
Oh, okay.
Comes full circle.
All right, I got another
taking a
spin here,
spin?
so
bet,
here
yeah.
we go. I
Yeah.
gotta,
Probably should take one.
I should definitely take it. Oh gosh, there's only like one more that I would
See,
want.
now you're not
least.
closing your eyes
All
because
right.
you don't.
Eyes are closed. Stop it.
Oh.
right.
Oh,
All right.
intriguing.
Okay.
This is much better for me, at least. Yeah, I was pretty lukewarm on Sam Howell going into the Senior Bowl. I kind of was on everyone, and it was one of the first times I went in the Senior Bowl without a personal favorite going in, and he definitely came out second for me. It was Malik was pretty far and away number one for me, but I liked Sam Howell. And when you go back and, we talk about needing to scramble around a little bit in your early years and how much that can help you. You go back and look at some of the rushing stats he put up at North Carolina. I think it'll really blow people away. I mean, I think he had, 3 straight games with 100 yards at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Especially this year. Now, he was some of it was running for his life, and some of it was, okay, I've got to get it done because no one else can really get it done. It was taking it upon himself, which you hope is that it doesn't lead to some bad habits, because not only in the pocket when he was under duress, but when he escaped, he's running to contact. He's taking a lot of hits. And so I admire the instinct that he has. I mean, you talk about tough, gamer, will bleed and die for his team. That's Sam Howell right there. But you want him to learn that discretion is the better part of valor. Instead of trying to get that extra yard and take that hit, get to the sideline, slide, get down. You're going to have to kind of coach that, because his instinct is to battle for every last inch. You admire that, but you got to kind of tell him, all right, you got to live to fight another play here, because if you do this in the NFL, you're going to get killed.
And you saw a talent difference from what he had the previous year to this year. I mean, we know Javonte, right? But also Michael Carter, Diami Brown. Like you saw
4 draft picks among skill players that Carolina lost.
It was huge, and so there was a lot more on his plate. And again, I'm not trying to defend him, but I actually am intrigued by Sam Howell as well. I get Baker vibes from him.
Could you see him running this offense too?
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
especially getting to see him under center in Mobile and looking smooth and getting that, and he got the play fake boot working, and we know how accurate he is deep. That's the thing. Like, he's not just a strong-arm quarterback. The deep ball is accurate.
And you might be able to package a couple of day 2 picks to maybe move up a little bit and get him at the end of the first round, get that 5th-year option. Or
That was going to be my question:
Yeah.
is where are we taking Sam Howell? Would you take him at 9?
No.
Okay.
I'd be inclined, like, 15 is kind of the starting point for me.
Yeah.
See, my problem there is, if you don't like him enough at 9, you just don't like him enough.
I understand that argument, and again, there's still a lot of the pre-draft process that we have the combine, you got the workouts, all that. So there's still a lot of things, and we don't really have a good sense. I mean, even as you were talking about, we might not take a quarterback in the top 10. That always changes, and all of a sudden a guy rises and that type of thing. But yeah, I mean, as I'm sitting here right now, I still think that he needs some time. He needs some development. He doesn't have the perceived upside as like a Malik Willis right now, but I still think he's intriguing. And he's a guy that I'd absolutely have and bring in and have a vet sort of coach him up.
So I think these are our only 2 rookies that we have on here, so I think now's a fair time to ask this. Who would you draft at 9? You personally, or anyone?
If it's a quarterback or just anybody?
Yep, quarterback.
Oh, quarterback. Well, I mean, I think Malik Willis should be in that conversation. I think Kenny Pickett's going to be in that conversation. I think Matt Corral probably could or should be in that conversation. I like Willis and Pickett probably of that group. Ben likes Matt Corral the best of that group. those are probably my top ones. I think the next tier is sort of the Sam Howell, Desmond Ridder, Carson Strong. Kind of get into that. Carson might be a little bit higher, but I mean, again, you start to really get into which flavor you prefer on most of these guys.
And those are end of the first round guys.
Yeah, end of the first round, second round, third round. Caleb Ellaby is going to be a day 3 guy. He's kind of fun, but
I wish he could move better.
I know
that's the thing with him. And the funny thing is when he was recruited, he's from the St. Louis area. Coming out of high school, he was regarded as a dual threat. But now he's
did not show it.
He's straight up pocket passer.
Yep.
This is one of my least favorite parts of the draft process. It's like Matt Corral just hasn't done anything in so long. It's like you just kind of forget about him a little bit. Like we were talking about it yesterday. If the Shrine game can get to a point where they start inviting juniors, they're just going to blow everything away because they'll get someone like Matt Corral to come out there and they're in Vegas and all that stuff. Like I think they can kind of take the throne because it's such a disadvantage for that type of guy coming into the draft.
And that's where a team like the Broncos could get lucky at that ninth overall pick where he kind of slides for no reason because it's not like he's put on bad tape from the end of the season until now. He just his name hasn't been out there. And we're seeing even with veterans, Aaron Rodgers always putting his name out there, making sure he's talked about all the time. Matt Corral's been the opposite. We've been talking about Carson Strong, Caleb Ellaby, even more than Matt Corral. And I just have to remind myself that when the season ended, he was my number 1 quarterback going into this draft process. And even I've lost that until this past week. And I thought, I got to keep remembering about Matt Corral.
Yep, he's a good quarterback. And again, one of the things we talked about last night, because we had Tim Jenkins on the show, my biggest complaint about him is he tends to wait a little bit for guys to get open. And is that something you can coach out of him? Is that going to be a little bit of a rough go early on? Also, sometimes, and again, I don't know what he's asked to do. Sometimes these guys in college, they say, hey, if the first read's not there, just go ahead and run. That's fine. Is that what he is? Is he a one read and run guy?
Yeah, right.
He's got the legs, no question
issue.
about it. His arm, I think, is good enough. I don't think he's an elite arm, but he's got a good enough arm. I just wonder, okay, him taking off and running constantly, is that what he was told to do, or is that what he is?
All right, Zach, you
All right,
got to get your spins
let's
in
spin
here.
this here. Let's go, and I'm not going to look either, and we'll stop.
Oh.
We're spinning it again.
That was quick. That was real. Oh, boy.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday. Drew Lock isn't the worst option this year because he's a guy that could still potentially flash. And Ryan, I want to get your opinion on this. It's not likely that he's going to flash enough where he becomes a consistent starter. But also with starting Drew Lock and not starting a Marcus Mariota or a Teddy Bridgewater again, you probably have a little lower of a floor too. And you know what? A lower floor isn't the worst thing. The worst thing, and in my opinion, and I think our opinion, is being 7-10.
Yeah.
Is being just okay and being good enough. What would you think if it's Drew starting?
Well, first of all, I just don't know how you sell that to the fan base. I mean, that's the starting point. But I mean, I wonder with better coaching what he could be, and I think that's what a lot of people wonder. Like, that you can have a multiple things being true conversation. Say, he's had some tough breaks as far as coaching goes. Pat Shurmur is definitely not the right guy for him. They had the COVID season that he didn't get an entire offseason that he was supposed to be the starter. That's all true. Simultaneously, he hasn't made the best of the situations that he has had. He did get a full year, and he wasn't good enough. Mm-hmm. And even the partial starts that he's had outside of the Rich Gangarello season probably wasn't good enough. So there's not been enough flash. There's not been enough to say, oh yeah, it's definitely there. We just got to give him more time. Right. So that's where I come down on Drew Lock. It's not one you're going to have an easy time selling for the fan base unless you got a rookie waiting in the wings. That's the only way.
Very fair, very fair. Okay, let's spin that, and let's hope my luck is a little better here. We're going to...
Come on, give him a bad one.
Oh! It's meant to be.
All right, let's go with the upside, Drew, or Bryce Young is what this means potentially. Let's go, baby.
Oh, my.
What are the odds?
Oh, that's
man.
fun. That's classic.
But
So
it's like
I'm walking away from the table empty. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, but the thing is like it's not like anybody here wants bad things for Drew Lock or rooting against him. Like
No.
None of us are sitting here going like, oh well, what a bum he is, and he's a bad locker room guy. No, he's a good locker room guy. He's a good dude. It's like it's just one of those things. Like the NFL is you're always looking or chasing for the elite guys, and he hasn't shown enough of those traits.
Well, and Ryan, kind of like you said, I just don't see the Broncos going into the season with him being the plan fan, and I just like I don't like second-round quarterbacks. Not Drew, but like if the Broncos were to draft a second-round quarterback this year, I just don't like it because it doesn't feel like the organization's all in, and I just don't get why they would go with the guy who they're not all in on. So if they were really to go into the season with Drew and Brett, I'd say, okay, let's go, baby. Let's ride with this. But if it's Drew starting and they brought in a guy at number 9, it's just going to feel like, what are we doing here?
Half in, half out.
Yeah.
What about Drew and a Trubisky or Drew?
It's
and
last year again.
I know, and
and
that's
it just I don't get it.
It's last year to us, and certainly to Broncos country. It's not last year to Nathaniel Hackett. And that's the thing. Like, George Payton is not viewing things through the prism of... I love the comment, by the way.
True.
Drew Lock is not... or Hackett's not viewing things through the prism of last year. And George Payton wasn't viewing things through the prism of the previous 4 years before he got there. So... But I agree. Broncos... I don't think you could sell...
At least we could
Drew
call
Lock and Mitchell Trubisky, or Drew Lock and Marcus Mariota to Broncos country.
At least we could call the quarterback battle Drew Bisky 2020.
That does have a nice ring
That
to
would
it.
be good.
But that's a great point you bring up. It's something that I try to echo as well on the show is what Broncos fans have lived through with mediocre quarterback play for the last several years is not necessarily what this new coaching staff or this new GM have experienced.
Yeah, it is hard to not frame it from 6 straight years of missing the playoffs when most people around here, didn't have anything to do with that.
Yep.
All right, before we move on, I want to remind you guys to come hang out at the DNVR Bar this weekend. We're almost always open. Tonight, not, though, from 6 to 8 because we got a little rehearsal dinner.
Yes.
Shouts to Spencer and Kylie. We're having their
weekend.
rehearsal dinner at the DNVR Bar, which is a pretty cool thing.
Cool.
Yes, you could do
Yes.
that too. It is truly a place of love and romance, usually directed towards Nikola Jokic, but on tonight it'll be towards real love. Anyways, come hang out at the DNVR Bar this weekend, watch some games, throw down some bets, have some beers, eat some good food. Ryan, you've been down here. It's a good time, huh?
It's a great time. Great food. Yeah, great atmosphere. I recommend the RK Special as far as the beer goes.
So that's one person who's recommended.
Oh,
it
okay.
besides
That is
you.
not true.
I guess
There's only
maybe
one
it's a Ryan
person.
thing. It's a Ryan thing.
There's only one person who has not recommended it, and that's Shelby Harris.
Yeah, but Shelby doesn't like turkey either, so there's a little bit of a...
Well, I think he's right on that, Pat.
And remember,
Actually,
he's from Wisconsin. He's from Milwaukee. I think he's a little bit of a beer purist. Like, I don't think he believes in mixing beers.
I don't think he's a beer purist. I just think that people from that area just want a straight Miller Lite.
A light beer. Yep, light beer.
Yeah, nothing fancy. Although, I don't know if you've ever had New Glarus beers. They're pretty fancy, like Spotted Cow or any of their fruit beers. Those are kind of fancy.
I only drink Breck Brews, Mace.
Yeah, I know.
And for my coffee, I only drink Strava Craft coffee. And if you want to get 25% off your Strava Craft coffee, go to StravaCraftCoffee.com and use the code DNVR25 where you'll get 25% off this CBD-infused coffee, which helps relieve aches, pains, migraines, headaches, anything that's going on, it will help relieve. So go to StravaCraftCoffee.com and use that code DNVR25 and then subscribe after to get 20% off every single order. That's StravaCraftCoffee.com.
Also tell you about the American Raptors. You're probably familiar with Raptors and rugby here in Colorado. Your Colorado rugby team has rebranded to the American Raptors, and this rebrand is here to stay. The American Raptors are composed of crossover athletes who are learning and getting proficient at the game of rugby, trying to get better athletes into the U.S. National Rugby Program to improve the fortunes of the USA Eagles national rugby team, and they're training over at Rugby Town USA over in Glendale, and they're going to be playing matches this year. And guess what? You can watch those matches for free. That's right, free. So go to AmericanRaptors.com and grab your free ticket for the upcoming season. And if you can't make it to the games in person, no problem. AmericanRaptors.com will have all of them streamed on their website, AmericanRaptors.com, of course. And if you missed that, our guy Colton Strickler here has it all covered for you at DNVR Rugby. He's got the DNVR Rugby podcast on a weekly basis. He's got written coverage at thednvr.com. He'll teach you about rugby with his Rugby 101 podcast. Hey, it's another opportunity to bet on sports. You can go on our friends at DraftKings, go to their app and bet on rugby matches around the world. If you want to understand what you're betting on, then check out those Rugby 101 podcasts from our guy Colton at DNVR Rugby.
All right, we got another game here coming in the second segment. Zach, you want to lead us through this one?
Yes, we are all against each other. The Ryans can't team up this time.
We'll see about
Mace against the Ryans, and I may chime in as well. I know a couple of these, though. So what we're going to do is we're guessing a player, either a current Bronco or a former Bronco, and we're going to start off with hints. We're going to give 4 hints, maybe 3 hints, and then if you know it off the first one, guess it, and then if you get it right, you win. And then if we don't get it on the first hint, we'll go to the second hint and third hint.
Zach,
Also-
are we just shouting out the answers chaotically, or are we trying to kind of pound the sofa? And
We're going to shout it out, but if you're wrong, you cannot answer again until both other contestants
Yep.
have
Okay.
put in a guess.
I love it.
All right.
Fair.
I love it. So let's get into the first one, and here is our first hint. 6'3", 233 pounds when he played.
Oh, I thought that was like a filler right there. It was supposed to say like when he played, like played from 2008 to 6'3", 233 when he played. That's
So
a good
I think
clue.
it gives you a little hint.
Yep.
Yeah, it's more than just the size, so no guesses. Okay, we'll go on to the second hint.
And that's not a linebacker. That's pounds.
yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes, we'll go with pounds, but 5-time All-Pro.
Steve Atwater.
Mace, you cannot speak again.
Oh no.
Third hint. First round pick in
wow.
1974.
Yeah.
I think Mace is wishing he waited till right now. I think he knows.
Is it gonna
Mecklenburg.
be- yeah, that I was gonna. Yeah.
It's not
No,
Mecklenburg.
it was.
No.
I was between the two, and
Damn it.
So
Yes.
wow, zeros across the board.
yeah, I feel like Ryan should have had an unopposed guess before the.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I
It's
said
true,
that was
it's
gonna be
true,
my guess.
It's true.
but-
It's true.
Alright,
It's
alright.
true.
Okay.
All right, let's go on to the second one, and I don't know this either. Undrafted in 1994.
Rod Smith.
Let's go to the second hint and see if Mace is right. Only played for one team.
It's looking
It's
good.
like it.
It's looking
And the
good.
third hint is two-time
second
second
team
team All-Pro. Rod Smith. Mace
go.
got it. We're going to need to be faster here, guys.
All right.
I need to grab my Red Bull or something.
All right.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me get the answers ready this time.
Okay, so we'll know.
How
off
many
the
more
top
questions
right
are
now.
there?
We got three more total.
Okay.
3 more people.
And Mace is only up 1-0. Okay.
Yep. You guys have time to come back. All right.
Peyton
Starting
Manning.
for 2 franchises. Oh, okay. We'll see.
Is it?
Is it Allie?
No.
No. Okay.
Ah.
Second hint. Played college at Georgia.
I think I know this one.
Champ Bailey?
Yes.
Let's
yes,
go.
Very good. Tied
Well
up,
done. Well
1-1.
done.
Yep, that was. I was thinking no Sean Moreno, but then.
Yep,
he
yeah.
only
Well,
played
first I
1
thought
year.
I'm like, but Terrell Davis didn't start for 2 franchises.
Right.
But then I thought George Foster, but that's I love George, but that's probably too obscure for this. So
All
Okay,
right.
let's jump in. Let's see if there's a tie broken or if Ryan Edwards ties it up here.
Is Zach playing?
Oh, or Zach, are you
He gets a 0 for just
Yeah.
for knowing the
He's trying to make me
answers
feel
already?
better.
Ouch. Okay, let's go on to the third one here. Ryan, you got this. Edwards.
right, thanks.
Edwards, this is all you. Here we go.
No, this is the fourth one.
Fourth one. You're right. Since
Pardon
we
me.
didn't get one. All right, started for 3 franchises and
Eric Decker.
third round pick in
There it is.
2010.
Yeah.
Wow. So he played for the Jets, he played for the Broncos,
Titans.
and he played for the Titans. Yeah.
Had to go play in Nashville because of his wife, Jesse James, country music singer.
Is that actually why?
He wanted, yeah. It was a very nice dovetailing of the Titans need a receiver, and he wanted to be in Nashville. So
Interesting.
All right. New rule: the Ryans get to combine their score against me.
Oh, I like this. So this would be just going for a tie.
So either one of us gets this in front of Mace, we tie.
Wow, that's not fun, Mace. I'm pulling for
appreciate
you
you
now.
pulling
I'm
me out.
pulling for you just to win. So
I might
there's
be dead
no
weight,
tie
though.
here.
Okay.
All right, let's do this one. 2-time second team All-Pro. That's pretty open gap there. Second hint. Played at
Justin
Boston
Simmons.
Yeah.
College.
Yep,
Oh!
nice.
Let's go.
Well done.
That was
well
the name
done.
that came into my head on the first one, but I didn't want to go too fast.
Impressive.
Wow.
Okay.
gonna tie break us?
I'm going to make one off the top of my head right
Okay.
here. Okay, ready, guys?
Yeah.
Played college at Tennessee.
Peyton Manning.
You can no longer guess.
I know who it is.
First round pick.
Al Wilson.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Mace wins.
Why did I not guess your favorite player?
And of course, I knew the Tennessee would probably throw people off, especially if it got to first round pick.
Yeah.
That was
So
the thing.
It was to throw someone off.
It was basically a 50-50 shot
I know.
at that
I know.
point.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
Yep.
I should have gone with the. Oh well.
Love Al.
Yeah,
Love Al.
It's your boy.
Everybody loves Al. How can you not love Al?
Everyone loves Al. Brian, one thing we didn't talk about, we didn't land on Aaron Rodgers' name. And
Yes.
I want to get your opinion really quick on where you stand on him. What do you think happens? Do you even want him here?
I mean, I think you'd have to want him here. I understand some of the people with his off-field stuff, and I don't know, maybe the amount of contract, the amount you'd have to give up for him. But at this point, I've said on the show multiple times, the Broncos need to take some swings. They need to take some real swings at the quarterback position.
Yep. And
being where they've been over the last several years, again, that's not all George Payton's fault. That's not all Nathaniel Hackett's fault. This franchise needs to take some real gambles there, and they've got the draft capital to do it. They've got the cap space to do it. So, yeah, I want Aaron Rodgers here. He's got the familiarity with Nathaniel Hackett. They've obviously brought in other players, coaches, everybody. They're going to probably bring in some Packers. So I'd say the way I look at it is, yes, if you have a chance to get Aaron Rodgers, you should. Hopefully the Broncos are also doing their homework on Russell Wilson, something we talked about last night on the show. And if you got a sense maybe that Russell Wilson will for sure be available and the price is something you're interested in, then I'd probably move a little bit closer towards that based on his age, based on what I think he's got left in his ability. But, yeah, I mean, you have to.
And what do you give up for him?
A couple ones, a couple day twos, probably a player. I don't think. You get into the 3-1s. I think we're having like is he going to play long enough for that to be valuable? I think you're going to get at least 2 years out of him. So 2-1s I could live with, especially because the second one is going to be a late day one.
Exactly. So they say the Packers say it's a done deal if it's 3-1s, 2-2s, and Jerry Jeudy. You doing it?
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm probably doing it, but that third one is going to give me a little bit of pause for sure. Especially if he is going to want. I know that there's a little bit of pushback on it now, but especially if he wants $50 million per.
Yeah, I know. I guess he reached out to Pat McAfee today, and McAfee said that's not what Rodgers wants.
And you knew there was going to be pushback, right? I mean, you knew there was, even if it was floated out from his agent. I mean, you knew that it was going to be pushback on the other side. But
I mean, you wonder, the fact that it happened this morning, that there was the pushback. Was it because of Greg Jennings' comments?
It could have been
this morning when he threw the S word out there for selfish.
Yeah. So what would you guys say? Over under, if he comes back to whatever team, $45 million per year.
Over.
It's gonna be over.
I'm saying over too. So I don't buy it.
Mahomes
that
is 46,
he's not in it
right?
for the money right now.
He's gonna be the highest paid.
Mahomes is 46.
Yep.
And he's whatever contract it is. It's basically 2 years, probably with some voided, maybe 3.
Yep.
So
we also didn't talk much about Russell Wilson. I saw you teased that there was a nice tidbit on your show. Do you want to?
Yeah.
You want to tell? Are we far enough removed, or are we gonna have to just tease the people even more?
No, it's fine. I mean, Ben basically said that they've started their homework on what it would cost to acquire him. So they're
Love it.
in some ways you'd mostly expect the Broncos to do. You'd want to take every opportunity there, but this is one of those okay, we're really seeing what that would look like, and I think that you have to always be careful in those because. Let's say Aaron Rodgers is your guy and he finds out you're flirting with the possibility of Russell Wilson, or the other way around. If Russell Wilson's like, was I plan B the whole time if you couldn't get Aaron?
Right.
So, these guys have a little bit of ego. You have to be a little bit careful with that. And, of course, there's always the whole tampering thing that you definitely have to be careful with. But, I mean, we just, we had that last night on the show that the Broncos have in earnest started their work on him.
And I think it was this morning or last night that Russell Wilson pulled a Kyler Murray and scrubbed the Seahawks from his Twitter page.
Oh, baby.
And
he's kind of seen, wait. Everyone across the country is talking about Kyler Murray. Everyone's talking about Aaron Rodgers. I'm not happy where I am. I want more money, or I want to be out. How can I garner some interest for myself? Let's do a little scrubbing.
Yep.
Now, what about the notion that's out there, it's been reported, that in any deal, Seattle would want a quarterback back?
Yeah, and I can understand that. I mean, where Pete Carroll's age is at, where they're at with their franchise. It's funny because Teddy Bridgewater would have been perfect, right? I mean, if you had him under contract, he'd be perfect for what Pete Carroll wants to do. He wants to run the ball, wants to be efficient, doesn't want to take any risks, right? Yeah. Teddy Bridgewater's kind of the perfect guy. But yeah, I mean, that's the one little hang up because is Drew Lock on his final year going to be that kind of quarterback for him? I sort of doubt that.
I have the perfect quarterback that the Broncos can send over who has been featured in a run-first offense that didn't want to take a lot of risks.
Kendall
Tebow?
Hinton.
Kendall Hinton.
I was like, we're bringing back Tim Tebow? Or... yeah, Kendall Hinton, right. Yeah. Was it 9 passing attempts he had?
Yeah. And 1 completion?
1 completion
Yeah.
and Noah
2 picks.
Fant.
No fan. No.
Was it 2
picks,
picks?
right?
2 picks.
More completions
Not
to
a
the
good
Saints
ratio.
than to the
Yeah.
Broncos,
Oh,
unfortunately.
yikes.
Poor
Yeah.
guy.
Tough. Very tough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we jump into our draft, as we always do in the third segment, I want to remind you guys to go check out our friends over at Green Mountain Dental Group if you need any dental work done. They're just outside of Denver, 15 minutes over in Lakewood. Great family-owned dentist office over there. They're part of the DNVR family. They come down here. They hang out at the bar. They watch Colorado sports. They're great. They've been taking care of us for a long time, all the way through the pandemic. So if you want to support someone that really supports DNVR while getting some great dental work done, check out our friends over at Green Mountain Dental Group.
And check out our friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook, because if you bet on any NBA team to win this weekend and they win, you get $150 in free bets. And all you have to do is bet $1 on that game. And if they win, you get $150 in free bets. There's no better way to start off your account than with $150 in free bets. And you also have to check out their same game parlays. You don't have to wait over the course of multiple games to hit a parlay. If you get in on their same game parlays, we just like taking Jokic over on everything?
Yes.
Points, rebounds, assists, and
He
Nuggets
only
win?
had assists last night.
Oh, wow. Typically, that doesn't happen, though.
Yep.
So I'm glad I didn't recommend this yesterday, but now, moving forward,
Exactly.
it's a pretty good bet, and you can do that all over at DraftKings Sportsbook. So head to the App Store now, download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now, and use promo code DNVR when you sign up to get this offer. That's, again, place $1 on any NBA team, and if they win, you get $150 in free bets. DraftKings is an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Minimum $5 deposit. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
All right, guys. Well, to really round out us doubling and tripling down on Ryan's on this show, this actually was not my idea. I don't even know whose idea this was. But for our draft of the week, we're drafting the best Ryans of all time. The great Ryan draft here. Who won last week? I knew you ran out to an early lead.
Not even close. Let's get to the standings.
Oh, my God.
I had over half of the votes. You and Ryan Green split the other like 40%. Not even close.
You were so mainstream.
That's what you got to do.
I
You got to
know,
play
I
for
know,
the people.
I know.
And
Now
Mace,
that there's a scoreboard, I'm going to have to change my approach.
oh, okay. And Mace,
Yeah.
of course, you weren't on last week, but that helped me.
Oh, there you go.
So thank you. And with this great Ryan draft, get creative. Doesn't just have to be a person. Anything with Ryan in it.
Huh.
So get creative.
All right.
But as
feel
I
like I
said,
need a list of Ryans,
as
but-
I said
You
yesterday,
can use
to,
your phone.
Yeah, I was going to say, I might need a list of Ryans.
as I said to the guys yesterday, you may want to do your homework with this one because there's not that many famous Ryans. And Ryan RK said to me right away, I can think of so many. So we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
we will see.
You're apparently supposed to kill this one. It's
I
probably
have
gonna be
like
leading
a-
the standings again.
I put a little prep into this.
Okay.
Just to make sure I wasn't missing any like dark horse Ryans.
You might need some help with spelling.
Okay. All
Fair,
right. That's fine.
fair.
So who's going first? I guess it
Our
has
guest,
to go in.
right?
Well, okay. All right. We'll go in reverse snake draft order then here.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. You have the number 1 overall pick
God.
in the Ryan draft.
It's a lot of pressure. But, you saw the graphic up there.
Yeah.
It's got to be Ryan Reynolds.
That's the first pick. yeah.
Deadpool. I mean, come on, guys. Like maybe the best Marvel movie of all time, not Avengers, but yes, Ryan Reynolds. I hope he follows me on Twitter now. At Man City.
That would be. There you go. All right. She was. I was gonna help with the spelling, but she got it. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
great. one of the top Ryans for
We
sure.
were watching him last night in
Funny,
Free Guy.
charismatic.
Yeah, we were watching
Yeah.
him literally last night in Free Guy, so I'm a fan.
My introduction to him was, I think it's called Best Friends.
Yeah, Just Friends.
Just Friends. Just
Yep.
Friends.
So good.
That one is good.
I mean,
and then he kind of went from like, obviously he's playing the big guy in that, and then he became like, he probably won sexiest man in the world at one point.
right.
But
Right.
to me, the high point of his career will be in Harold and Kumar Go to White
Oh
Castle.
man.
Marijuana. But why?
So good. And that's one of the most used gifts of all time.
Yes.
I'm staying on another route as our graphic showed as well.
Wait, but you're like our big pop culture guy. You don't want to share your favorite Ryan Reynolds
Oh
moment?
man, he's Deadpool. I love Deadpool.
Oh,
like you said, he's great. in
Have you seen Deadpool?
I actually have.
Okay,
Yeah, I have. And I'm going another pop culture route here. I'm going Ryan Gosling. Now he probably actually has won Sexiest Man of the Year.
At least once.
Yeah. I really like Ryan Reynolds is the number one pick, but gotta go another Ryan here.
All right. Well, it would be on brand for me to just pick myself here.
Yeah.
But I really don't like losing. So are we
saying
going 5 deep on this draft?
We may have to.
Yeah,
thin it out a little.
Yeah.
I think we should go 3. All right. I get the best sports Ryan of all time with my 3rd pick. So I'm gonna go Nolan Ryan.
I thought that one was gonna fall.
I thought it was gonna fall, too.
I gambled. I gambled with it.
I'm going Nolan Ryan,
That's a good
arguably the
one.
best pitcher ever.
Yep.
With the number 3 pick there.
And I gotta think he's the best sports Ryan, right?
Yes.
Is like Ryan Tannehill, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be
that's a
giving
good one for
anything
you.
away.
Yeah.
Shut up, Ryan.
All right. I'm
This was
gonna.
a tough draft to go for.
Yeah.
I feel for you, Mace.
Yeah, I gotta go Seacrest.
Yeah.
Oh!
Strong one.
Yeah.
I like it.
What does he do besides just the New Year's Eve?
Well, he hosted American Idol.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah.
He's
that's
got
a
a
pop culture.
He's
I
got a
don't know.
nationally syndicated radio show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
He's pretty much basically. It's appropriate that he is the host of the New Year's Eve special because basically, in every way, he has kind of succeeded Dick Clark and taken that role in the pop cultural zeitgeist.
All right.
Could have been
so-
Carson Daly.
Could have been.
But see, I mean, the thing is though, like Seacrest, just you have to have that cross generational appeal.
Right.
Like grandmothers like Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah.
Right. So
I think
it's
Ryan-
a little bit more than just appealing to the young demographic. You got to go appeal all the way to the septuagenarians and octogenarians. And he can do that.
I assume Ryan Seacrest was hosting American Idol when our guy Scotty McCreery, who was hanging out here at the bar last
Yes.
weekend,
Yeah.
won.
Yeah. It's a great point.
All right, Mace, you gotta snake it.
All right. I'm gonna actually. Can we do a fictional character?
Yeah.
Anything.
Jack Ryan,
That's a good one.
Who's Jack Ryan?
He's,
the hero of almost every
Clancy.
Tom Clancy novel,
Oh, okay. All right.
film adaptation,
That
series.
is the one that I've read more books of than any.
Yeah.
The Jack,
Wow.
Yep, Jack Ryan series.
It's
It's
a really
political
good one.
thriller.
Yeah.
Political thrillers.
I played a Tom Clancy video game
Yeah.
once.
Yeah.
It's the closest I've ever been to
Probably
reading a
Jack
book.
Ryan. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the question then becomes who is the best Jack Ryan? Is it, is it one of the recent iterations, or are you
Harrison
going back to
Ford.
Harrison Ford or
Ben
Alec
Affleck.
Baldwin, who was the original in
Yep.
in Hunt for Red October back in 1990?
Yep. Yeah, and Ben Affleck was
Yeah.
Jack
Yep.
Ryan, and then was it the guy was
Chris Pine.
Chris Pine. Yep.
Chris Pine. John Krasinski is.
Oh, that's right.
Big
He's
Jack
good. He's
Ryan.
Yeah, he's
guys
good.
over
He's
here.
good. I'd still go for Harrison Ford on the strength of Clear and Present Danger.
Which
like
is
one of my
funny.
favorite scenes. That's kind of the most Jack Ryan
I
movie
agree.
that we've seen.
But what's really kind of funny is
Yeah.
I've heard that Tom Clancy hated Harrison
Right.
Ford's Jack Ryan.
I know it's fascinating, but like the scene like where he
him
basically he stares down and comes back at the press. How dare you bark at me? I'm the president of the United States. How dare you, sir? And that's when he says he's going to basically say exactly what happened and go to Congress.
So
and everything.
good.
It's great. I mean, it gives me chills thinking about it.
All right.
awesome.
Well, you guys gave me the best sports Ryan. You also left on the board the best female Ryan.
Oh no,
So I'm going Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan.
here.
That was going to be my
Nice.
second round pick. Dang it.
I really like the way this fell for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking
That's a
good.
good choice.
But you guys left me the best Ryan movie. I'm going Saving Private
Oh,
Ryan here.
that's impressive. I did not. That was not on my board. Good
No.
job.
The Nolan Ryan and the Saving Private Ryan were the ones that I was hoping would
You
slide.
thought would be dark
Yeah,
horses.
yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
All right, back to
You got
back.
back to
picks
back
here.
to end it out.
All right. Well, he's got arguably the greatest beard of all time, and it is hard to deny his greatness. And he's known by Fitzmagic, but I'll go with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's a good. I thought you were talking about yourself when you were
No,
prepping it.
No, I'm not in the same category as Ryan Fitzpatrick. That beard, my goodness. And again, I could have gone Tannehill, Could have gone Tannehill, but
No, Fitzpatrick's better.
Fitzpatrick
Yep.
is way stronger.
Yep.
All right, and for my final Ryan, you took my Meg Ryan, man. That was too good. I don't, man, I'll get killed if I take that one. So that's a tough one. All right, I guess I'll take. Hold on, I gotta go back. I gotta go back to my draft board here. Hold on a second.
This is tough.
jeez.
Good thing we're only doing 3.
I know. This actually gets a lot harder as we go. All right, I'll just go because I'm a musician. I'll go Ryan Adams.
Okay, love it. It's
a good
one.
Really good pick.
Good singer-songwriter.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to win me the draft by any stretch, but as a musician, I kind of got to get a little bit of love there.
That's really good. Really good. So now it's me. I'm going to go a little off the beaten path. I'm going to go with certainly the one that has been talked about for the most in the history of the world and beyond the world as well. I'm going Orion's Belt.
Oh.
With this one.
Wait, that's a different
That's
spelling.
differently.
Oh,
we didn't
right.
say spelling sound.
Judges.
How's it pronounced? Ryan.
It's R-I-E.
O-R-I-O-N.
That's it.
That
That's
is
it.
not Orion.
I would
Say it
give
for
it
me.
to-
Say it for me.
Oh.
Orion.
Orion. Yeah, Orion.
This is
Orion.
like if someone was named like Mary Ann, and you're like, if you take the R-Y of Mary and the A-N of Ann.
That's good. Do you want to go with the Mary Ann? I mean, you kind of got me.
See, you're always trying to stretch the rules on us,
And
but
you know what? It wins.
this is a
It
show
wins.
that rewards creativity.
Yeah,
Yep.
and
So we're gonna
as
let it
my mom
stand.
always said, cheaters are leaders. So that's
Wow.
yeah.
Oh, jeez.
These fascinating lessons out of the Stevens household.
I know, right?
And you know what? She's right. I'm leading the standings right now.
I've always just felt like that was a bit that you were doing. You're
Yeah.
just throwing your mom under the bus. But the more you do it, the more I start to believe she actually said this.
Yeah, she did. Now, it wasn't like a life lesson, but just a good daily reminder. Maybe not daily.
It's tough. Getting down to
It is. What are we on our 10th Ryan right now? 11th Ryan.
11th.
Gosh, I can't
You
decide
going with
whether I
yourself
want to
now?
go for like a more decorated athlete or someone that might really hit with like the target demo.
Well, you know what to do. You go with number 2.
But I don't know. Like it's kind of a gamble.
Oh, if
You know,
it hits?
if it hits.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we don't have very many athletes on here.
Also, it's always scary. Like it's hard to remember who's canceled and who isn't.
That's true.
So I think this guy bounced back. I'm gonna go Ryan Lochte.
That's what I was wondering. I was
I'm
like,
gonna
are you
go
know
Ryan-
Ryan
yeah,
Lochte?
yeah.
I'm gonna go Ryan Lochte.
Okay, so now we have 4 athletes.
Not the
of
smartest
11.
of the Ryans.
No.
That probably goes to one of the 2 sitting here on the couches. But you know what? Gold medalist. That's got to be worth something.
Yep. It should be. I think people have forgiven him.
I can't remember if what he did was all that bad or if it was just dumb.
Wasn't it? It was something at the Olympics, right?
Yeah, he like
A
yelled at
passport thing?
someone.
I thought
or
he
stole something.
Yeah,
Did
there
he
was
steal
something. There was something.
It's real quiet over there. You guys,
Yeah,
you
I'm
guys
trying
holding
to
something
think.
from us?
They would rather talk about Jack Ryan.
Yeah, we could keep going on that.
Charged by Rio police with filing a false robbery report.
That's what it was.
During
Oh, it
2016
was like-
Olympics.
Oh yeah.
False robbery report.
Yeah.
That's right.
There's
It's
no
even
need
got-
to bring up old stuff.
It's even got a Wikipedia entry, Lochte-gate.
Lochte gate. You got a gate.
Got a gate. He got
Yeah.
a gate.
Massive.
That's what makes it official.
Yes.
All right. There's a lot of directions I could go in here. But I got to think about kind of what we do on a daily basis. Ryan Clady,
Ah, very good.
That's a good one.
Very
Missed
good.
that one.
Yep.
who was an All-Pro twice, in my opinion, should be a Ring of Famer. Mm-hmm. He's just coming up to eligibility here in a bit. He's one of those guys that he's probably going to get into that kind of the Al Wilson, Ed
CLADY.
McCaffrey territory where you might have to wait a while. But other than Gary Zimmerman, there's no better tackle in Bronco history.
Yeah.
And I think there's a huge gap. There's not much of a gap between Zim and Clady based on where they were. And you could even argue that Pete Clady was better than Zim was here because, of course, he'd already played for Minnesota before he came to Denver. But it's not close from number 2 to number 3
Yeah.
for tackles in all-time history for the Broncos.
Totally agree.
That's what we get for Googling most famous Ryans and just going off that list.
Yeah.
Couple honorable mentions for me. Ryan Bowen played for the Nuggets, and now he's actually on the coaching staff, and he was like the ultimate hustle player. And when I was a kid, I absolutely loved him, especially because he shared a name with me. And then the one that I was saying, like, this could hit with the age group that we have,
thought that was Ryan Lochte.
No,
Okay.
it was Ryan Dunn. He's from Jackass.
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
right. Yeah.
And I was like, is he too? He's not like one of the
Right.
A-list Jackass guys, so is it too low down there?
Wasn't he the one that had the car put up his rectum?
You
in the
know,
movie?
it's hard to remember who did
Wow.
what.
Like, I mean,
is
I-
this back-to-back shows of rectal talk?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
Wow.
Bum Talk Friday.
It is Bum Talk Friday.
yeah, exactly. But I think he would do some pretty outrageous stuff.
Yeah, I
as I recall,
think he might have also done the like snake with the sock one, if you know what I'm talking about.
Boy,
Yeah.
no, I can only imagine.
Oh, yeah. Some others I had on the list in football. Matt Ryan, Falcon quarterback.
You know I
Yeah.
couldn't take him.
I
Yeah,
know
I
you did.
couldn't do that
Couldn't do
either.
it.
No way.
Former Phillies first baseman Ryan Howard.
That was
Great-
what I looked at.
Yeah,
Great
he
power
was on
hit.
my
He
list
was on
too.
mine,
He's
Yeah.
on mine, yeah.
Ryan
The-
Braun.
And that's another reason.
Yeah,
I
but-
can't-
Erroneous
with the-
MVP. Ryan
Yeah, but with
Braun.
the PEDs, the Ryan Howard from The Office.
Oh.
that would have been a great
You
one.
just- honestly, Ryan Howard, you just throw it out there and you
You
get
get both.
both.
Get bold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that, and I did think about that with the last pick. If you're a soccer fan, longtime Man United star Ryan Giggs.
I thought of him too.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe I'll get our UK, but then I thought, oh, there might be a lot of people that hate him.
Yeah, a guy who Matt McChesney trained, Super Bowl champion Ryan Jensen. Plays for
yeah.
Tampa Bay. Also went to CSU Pueblo. And for Broncos, Ryan Harris.
Yep, of course.
Of course.
And then going back a little bit farther, linebacker Jim Ryan from the 1980s Broncos as well.
Mace could have gone 5 rounds.
I know,
That's
he
what I'm
could have done
saying.
that.
I was ready. And then Buddy Ryan.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then Rex Ryan.
Yeah.
I actually, if we'd gone 5 rounds, I was thinking about a back-to-back Buddy Ryan, Rex Ryan, especially
Yeah.
because with Rex Ryan we could have, in addition to bum talk, we could have foot talk.
That's true.
I think you're Nolan Ryan. Really, that's
That
the
was
one.
good. That was
Yeah.
good.
That's-
That was really good.
That might be the winner. Right there.
I'm worried about Ryan Lochte. I hope everyone forgot that he lied about being robbed or whatever it
In
was.
a different continent.
Yeah. So it's kind of a scary thing there. But I think if I can't remember. It's kind of like a Manti Te'o sort of thing, right? Like it came out that they were like the victims, and then it got kind of reversed on them, and then
Right.
One super chat.
Oh, let's hit
Okay,
a super
cool.
chat. From Jelly, chance we get some Rodgers news by this Tuesday. That's a good way to wrap up here.
I wonder why this Tuesday is the date. The following Tuesday is actually the 8th when he said he's going to have a decision by. So I'm not holding my breath anymore on Aaron Rodgers news. I think it'll happen by that 8th, but I don't think it'll happen this weekend. I think Aaron Rodgers knows if he wants big news to be out there, he's going to wait until big news is ready to cover it, and that's typically not on the weekends.
Didn't Aaron
It's gonna be a
Rodgers
Tuesday
say
on the
yeah.
McAfee show?
Yeah.
Won't it?
Yeah.
But
Oh,
didn't
could
he
be.
say that when there's big news, the news he was actually going to fly
Yes.
into Indianapolis to join Pat
And the
McAfee?
combine. Is
What a
next week.
time.
Exactly. It's all
time.
coming together. So we could literally hear from Hackett and Peyton Tuesday morning Denver time, 10 o'clock and 10:15 a.m. Denver time. And then Rodgers, if he is in person and is at the usual time, he would be at 11 a.m. Denver time not long after they speak. Could be a wild couple of hours there.
How about this? We've all hung out together in Indianapolis. We all meet up Monday night, have some drinks, find ourselves at the places you find yourselves at late night in Indianapolis. Aaron Rodgers happens to stroll in, fresh off the Panchakarma cleanse, doesn't have enough in his body to sustain very much alcohol, gets hammered, tells us what he's doing. We break it.
as he's throwing up everywhere. Part of the cleanse.
Yeah, on purpose.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
It's therapeutic
exactly.
vomiting.
Yes, of course.
Do they have good functional toilets at Prime 47? That's what I want to know.
I
I
would
assume they do.
Everything's prime there, including the toilets.
And the butter.
Yes. It's got some good. They're gonna get some ghee on deck for him, just melted in a glass.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, that is gonna wrap it up for us here. Ryan, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Make sure you check out Ryan and Ben on Broncos Country tonight. They do a great job with their show there. Great Broncos tidbits every night. So check them out. Again, appreciate you. Appreciate you guys all for listening, and we'll catch you next week on the DNVR Broncos podcast.